It's Kate Floss again, signing in from self-imposed political exile, Bangkok, Thailand. Make myself look nice. So, as you know, that we've been trying out this select committee and using our our Bill of Rights 1688 to see if we want to find out the answer to the question: is the pen really mightier than the sword? And we've been to my team. I've actually got a whole team of us. So I've got quite a few names. Caitlin Waterman, Kate Floss is my stage name is Kate Floss. Everyone calls me Kate Floss. So everyone calls me Kate Floss, but that's not my name. And then there's Caitlin Waterman, which was just due to my Kate Floss account got closed down, and I used this other Caitlin Waterman account. But my true name is Catherine Ann Sixtus, a descendant of German Bellbeakers who were stolen from Germany back between the years of the late 1600s, around about 1670 through to 1840. Thousands and thousands of French and German Bellbeakers were stolen from their native lands. They were native people and sent out to South Africa, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. And these people have been having a very hard time. And I was thinking about ways that I could help these people. They're usually called Nazis, Gestapo, they've the Boa, and they've got all sorts of names that they call us. We've been told that these are not our countries. We've been told to get out of these countries and all sorts of things. And when in fact, even over in England, actually the same thing has occurred. In fact, the natives of those particular lands had entered into immigration agreements and agreed to purchase these people to bring them to their lands. And those people were never, ever going to be able to return because they came in as natives of their own country that they were stolen from, and they were made to be nationals or citizens of that place that they were brought to. And they were never able to return to their own lands because they never held a primary passport or citizenship or birth certificate on their own native land. So they all knew, the natives, the Aboriginals of Australia, the New Zealand Maori chiefs, the Canadian Inuit chiefs, the American Indians, they all knew that these people were not, and over in South Africa, the African kings, they all knew that these people were not going to be able to return to their own lands. And they should all be protecting our people for the peace and safety that we have brought to these countries. So anyway, we wanted to test out, when we were sent on the ships, we carried with us, and it started over in England, so we can also thank England. How can I make this smaller? So we can also thank, it's not really quite working here. We can also thank England. I'll just move me over there. I hope I'm going to be able to do this. So this here is the Bill of Rights 1688, which actually does come from the English Bill of Rights. But if you go and have a look on this Bill of Rights, you'll see there's no name of any country. There's no name of any country on it. And that was because this was to be the rights that would be given to all of us Bellbeakers. So I'm calling us all Bellbeakers. Now, Bellbeakers is not got anything to do with colour. You can be a white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Bellbeaker, or you can be a brown or dark brown, black-haired Bellbeaker. This applies to all those people that were sent on the white slave ships and the black slave ships to all of these nations to be utilized as the foundation to put these protections of Jesus, because it's a Protestant law, of Jesus onto them, and then your nations would all be balanced on top of them. So all your nations are sat on these people that can never be returned to their own lands. So we wanted to try out this one, some of the important things on here. So if you ever want to go to the court, or you go to the Parliament, or you go to the Governor General, so I'm Catherine Sixtus. So there's many things in here. Here's your land. This is a forfeiture of person without conviction are illegal and void. This is the protection of your land rights. This is your juries. This is a protection that you're entitled to a jury if you're prosecuted. This is your protection of your freedom of speech. This is not the protection of arms as in weapons. This is a protection that the subjects, that's us, which are Protestants, all outside of the religions, may have arms for their defense suitable to their conditions and as allowed by law. This is talking about the arms of the law, which includes your right to go to petition Parliament, your right to petition courts, tribunals, any government agency, your right to be heard by the Governor General, your right to be heard by the Ombudsman, your right to be heard by all the international laws that surround you and are protecting you. Well, that is what your arms are. When they deny you access to the court, they have violated Almighty God's under Jesus of Nazareth's law, and they are subjected to liabilities to be paid to us by the state because they have violated this law, right? So we wanted to test this out, okay? Now, it does not say, I'll just read this one, but there's quite a bit of controversy about people saying that you go under the king. You absolutely are not under the king. The king is the shelf. He's another shelf, one of many that this sits on, and it simply says that whereas the said late King James the second, having abdicated the government, and the throne was left vacant, His Highness the Prince of Orange, whom as it has pleased Almighty God to make the glorious instrument of delivering this kingdom from popery and arbitrary power. So the king is the instrument that is set there via the Governor General, via the Parliament, via the courts, via the tribunals to enforce this. Now, you can't just go and petition the king. What you need to do is go through the avenues. You go to the Parliament. If they don't listen to you, you go to the courts. If they don't listen to you, you go to the Governor General. Once you've exhausted all of the avenues, it is at that time that you call in the big people, you call in the king, who is the instrument of Almighty God under the Church of England, which is a Protestant church. Then he will come in and set it right, because if he doesn't, the whole legal system, all commerce, all everything comes tumbling down. Now, there are certain people in certain religions, which is another video, who would like to see that happen. Now, over these last 2 years, since 2022, so 3 years, me and my Oreo team, and I also have a Bellbeaker team now, and we have set up all the ministers that we've got our own ministers I'd like to introduce, I've got White Mary, she's the Minister of Health. I've got Brown Mary, she is the Ministry of Finance. I have got Brown Maxie, she is the Minister of Historical Affairs and provides me with all of the information that I need on the true history of both of our peoples. One thing that Maxie and I have figured out working together is that, you know, she's a brownie and I'm a lightie, and we do get in loggerheads because we both inherently believe in defending our own people, but we are both of knowledge that in defending both of our peoples, in defending our own people, we also have to stand together as one unit to defend both of our peoples, because all of our laws are intertwined. It's South Africa and the white South Africans and the dark South Africans. It's the white Australians and the dark Aboriginals of Australia. It is the Canadian Inuits and the French and the white Canadians, and it's the American Indians and the American white people and the American. We are all intertwined, and we cannot. It's not going to matter how hard you try to separate us. But remember, there are people. There are people that want us divided. There are people that have come in to claim that they are either in the white side or they're in the dark side, but they never want us to be together. So we wanted to work against that narrative. Who else have we got? I've got many ministers, and Kate Floss, of course, I'm the Prime Minister, Bellbeaker, because I'm lead. Well, I don't mind to take that that name because I'm leading all the show. But we do have a certain set of things that we stick to. One of the things that we're all agreed upon is the Bill of Rights 1688. It's got to be put up front and foremost. And if we can't find that which we are looking to oppose, if we cannot find any violation to in New Zealand they call it the Wakarite, which is in the Te Tiriti o Waitangi, it has got the Wakarite, and these are the Wakarites and the principles of the treaty. Now, some of you, if you're in Australia or if you're in France or if you're in Europe, you may possibly and most likely do not realise that this Treaty of Waitangi includes Australia, it includes Germany, it includes France. In fact, it includes all Europeans. Anybody out of Europe is in that treaty, and it includes all immigrants, that being immigrants that were put on ships stolen from our native lands of Germany, our native lands of France, and our native lands of Africa. All those people come into that Treaty of Waitangi. The Te Tiriti, which is the New Zealand Maori version, actually has the Wakarite written in it, so you can quite safely use either of those documents if you come from those countries. Now, all the things that I'm about to show you can be found in all of those countries. So let's now this is just one of many, so I'll be posting a series of videos, but this is one of many that we've done. Now, where am I going to start? I think I'm going to start where we had a great problem was this bill here. It was a Parliament bill, right? And then this Parliament bill here, as you can see here, it has passed first reading. So the bill is introduced into Parliament. After the bill is introduced into Parliament, it will go onto the floor and it will need to pass a first reading, of which I believe they need a certain percentage of ministers that will back the bill. After the bill is backed, it will go to the Select Committee. Now, this is where all of you are so, so important. The select committee is where you get to go in, and I'm telling you something. If you can find anything in that bill that is in violation of this Bill of Rights 1688, then that bill will come under extreme scrutiny, because it is that goes to the Governor General. When you've called in your Bill of Rights, your entry also goes to the Governor General by its very nature. And the Governor General will sit with the Privy Council, and they will decide if you are actually correct that there's a violation of your Wakarite or not. And if there is, that the bill will not get passed. Now, more often than not, the minute that you go into the select committee with your 1688 Bill of Rights, or Bill of Rights 1688, as has happened to me, and at this time, my whole Oreo team, which we had Maxine, Sharon, Di, I'm not going to say all the names complete because, and another one, my friend Jojo, Di, and Brent, I'll say his name, Brent, Maxine and Sharon. So they all were with me when we went in to do this. So they were all watching from the background. They were up at 3 o'clock in the morning cheering me on. And more often than not, when you get into this select committee, what you'll find is that if you've used your 1688 Bill of Rights, they will change that bill before it even goes to the Royal Assent, because it just won't, it will not pass a second reading if that has been addressed in there. It won't pass. So in order to make that pass, they have to remove that bit that you're talking about. And so what they'll do is they'll go and make an amendment, as is the case with us. In our case, they did not repeal the whole bill, but they did amend that which I spoke to, which I was upset about, and then that was taken out. And the bill was able to proceed after that, and the bill did in fact pass, and it is in fact a good bill. So here is the bill passed in the legislation, and I'm going to tell you what we had opposed in this was the fact that Rawiri Waititi and I don't know Curry Allen, but Rawiri Waititi had taken this electoral bill. He wanted to make changes to the 1993 electoral law, and he wanted to replace every place where it used the word general, which is all the public, you'll see it in my video, every place where it had that, he wanted to call us non-Maori. So we were then going to be given an identity on an electoral roll as being non-people. Now, I'm going to have to make you a video later to show you all the changes through all the electoral acts since 1854, all the changes that they've made to the definitions of us. And they have ended up at this final place where they wanted to call this non. Anywhere that you see this word non, where you see non-Maori, because they're going to slip it in other places, you've got to go and oppose it, because they're trying to get us referred to or defined as non-Maori in the electoral law, which is going to remove our identity and our Pākehā connection to the land. So here is the electoral. I won't show it to you now. I'll show it to you soon, all right? But what I will show to you was, here is what Rawiri Waititi wanted to get past. Rawiri, I should have a picture of Rawiri up, but I haven't, but never mind. So we went to the House of Representatives. He had in clause 4, so they wanted to change in the definition of district or electoral district or electorate, they wanted to replace general election with the word non-Maori electoral. And they used to call us non-Christian, non-Jew, non-Muslim, non-Catholic, and they used to hang all the Protestants in the street, which is why we got our Bill of Rights 1688 under Jesus of Nazareth, because we said, no, we are not nons, we are the Gentiles and we exist, and we were given the protections of Jesus and we want to keep them, thank you very much. So he put in non-Maori, then he put delete the definition, he wanted to delete the definition of general electoral district and general electoral population, and he wanted to put in a new definition called Maori electoral population, and he wanted to also replace it with non-Maori electoral and with non-Maori electoral, and he wanted to call us the non-Maori electoral district and the non-Maori electoral population. So we were going to be dumped in with the 2.5 million. Now we are 3 million Pākehā people, and of those 3 million Pākehā people, we are probably around about 1 million, maybe quite a bit less than that, but at least in the high hundreds of thousands of people who are ascended of peoples that were here before 1854. And so we call those the Bellbeaker peoples. Whether you are brown, whether you are white, you're the Bellbeaker peoples that can show that you were there walking with those chiefs at that time, pre-1854, before all of the electoral districts were organised. So we arranged probably in about the 700,000, 900,000 group. Well, they wanted to lump us in with the 2.5 million refugees that have just arrived. So you were going to be Indonesian, Chinese, and also you were going to be lumped in with people that only have newly come to New Zealand, which is not right because we've got very important documents. So I didn't want to be, once you get listed as non in the Electoral Act, that's pretty much how your children will be defined for all eternity until someone comes back to change it. So this was a very serious issue that Rawiri Waititi sneakily was getting up. He wanted to change the division of New Zealand into non-Maori electoral districts, so we were no longer going to be having the word New Zealand in our electoral law. This is really bad. He wanted down in the allowance for adjustment of quota, he again was going to put in non-Maori, but there he's got his lovely Maori representation. He's going to have his Maori representation and out with the non-Maori. Again, so he's done that all through, as you can see. So you can go and look at that. And as you can see, his goal here, quite frankly, Rawiri Waititi, you freaking dog's day. I'm not allowed to say bad words, but Rawiri, your intention was not to get elected seats for Maori. You're lying. I will say publicly that in my opinion you are a liar. Your goal was to have all Pākehā peoples that have been here for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years you wanted to have them called non-Maoris, non-entities, and eliminate them. So he's done it all through. Then he says the supplementary paper, it would change the name of the General Electoral District to Non-Maori Electoral District. It's disgusting. It is just disgusting, Rawiri. That even for you, Rawiri, that is a new low. It is a new low. And so anyway, here's Kate Floss, and I went in with the will of Jesus of Nazareth, and I said that was a forfeiture of our person without any conviction. And I said, I think I've got it here. Yes, that's me, Catherine Sextus. And I said, I'm not opposed to the New Zealand Maori specific needs in regard to elections and voting. However, certain New Zealand Maori seem to be taking liberties, Rawiri Waititi, to force demands which have a great effect on the Anglo population and their right to their nation status. The Anglo voice has been ignored far too long, and their significant contributions for 200 years belittled, demeaned, and is consistently suppressed of late. This is supposedly a New Zealand Maori electoral option bill, and yet they have taken the liberty to change the wording of general electorate to non-Maori electorate. I resent being called a non-anything. I am someone. I am Kate Floss. My great-great-great-great-grandparents came on the St. Pauli in 1843, stolen from Germany in the middle of the night from the Hanseatic states of Lübeck, Hamburg, and Bremen, and brought to New Zealand to put the entire world on top of my shoulders. Her Majesty Queen Victoria, together with Chief Tamati Wakanene, which I will just show you. Recently, I'll just put it in. Recently, I had all my students do a Tamati Wakanene project, and these are the works that they've done. They've told me what they've told me is all of the vocabulary of the gall things on his face. Well, they've explained it all to me, and they have found some amazing things. I told them to go and research Wakanene, and they have found some amazing things. That's one of my favourites. And here's another one of my favourites. My students did this. So we've got Chief Nene there. So that's, my students have done that. It's really amazing. We've got quite a few. I did get a lot, but this... I will show you. So these are from all my students in the grade 12, I think they are. And so we did a project on Tamati Wakanene. And so these are, I'll just put these up while I can. Don't know if they, go that way. So this was one of my favourites here. Cross out Jacinda. So they've done all that. Haven't they done a great job? Look at that. So they hand drew all of these. This one was an interesting one that they did. This one they've done all in colour, which is amazing. Did one of them got the tiki on, I think? I think one of them's got the tiki. Here's another one. So, if you're the Pākehā peoples, it's sad that I'm sorry to all the Pākehā peoples that have been separated from the New Zealand Maori for so long, and it's going to be a long fight for us to get back together to the place where we were supposed to be, but hopefully through my videos, through the select committee, I will show you how much these chiefs absolutely protected you, how they fought for you, how they died for you. When you realise that these chiefs were dying for you, Pākehā people that had been stolen from your Hanseatic lands as slaves to New Zealand. When you realise how hard they fought for you, you know, you're going to see things in a new light. So it's going to take a long time to reteach you the truth of your history. And I'm telling you something, their chiefs and our chiefs, they walked together side by side. Here's one more. This one is put in a bit of a splash of colour in there. I thought I had one with the tiki, but so they've all hand drawn them for us. So that's from our students over here in Thailand in honour of Tamati Wakanene. Now, Donald Trump is calling himself the peacemaker, but I'm telling you something. Tamati Wakanene truly was the peacemaker. He's the one that brought in this Bill of Rights. So anyway, so I said, together with Chief Tamati Wakanene himself, were instrumental in removing the alien status from certain Germanic peoples on the St. Pauli listed in the Royal Decree. Chief Nene also received a Royal Decree attaining subject status in 1843 after us. For a moment in time, our two families were New Zealanders together. The 1688 Bill of Rights states that a forfeiture, I hope you can see that, states that a forfeiture of person before conviction are illegal. I do most loudly protest a forfeiture of my status as an individual in the population of New Zealand and rightful subject of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth being relegated to a race. At that time, Queen Elizabeth was still alive, and to be relegated to a race called Non-Maori. I do claim this word change will have detrimental effect to myself and future heirs and successors' ability to attain vindication and assertion of my and their ancient rights and liberties. Recommendations. I do declare that I, Catherine Sixtus, abjure and detest any attempt to name my person non-Maori or non-anything. I do demand and assess that Rawiri Waititi and or any other person of Maori race or any race make provisions in bills that concern themselves only. So don't come upon my person and my God and my Jesus of Nazareth. Don't even think about touching me, mate, because I'll be coming for you. I'll be coming for you. I will. And successors, and it would be detrimental effect to myself and future heirs and successors' ability to attain vindication and assertion of my and their ancient... Oh, wrong place. I demand and assess that Rawiri Waititi and or any other person of Maori race make only provisions for themselves, and they have no right to change the word general population, which has significant meaning to the descendants of ancient Anglo-Saxon people. I do declare, hey, I do declare that no foreign prince nor person ought to have any jurisdiction or authority to act in superiority over my person as a pretended title of the crown. I should have worded that just a wee bit differently. But anyway, there you have it. Now I want to show you, people, I think I'll do the submission last. What I will show you is after I wrote that, and I did go in and put in a verbal submission, we'll get to the good stuff. After that, Rawiri Waititi had to go back and make amendments, you see here. So here in the amendments, what you will see is he's removed all see, this is why we've got to watch these bills. He has removed all references to non-Maori, and he's only focused on what he should have focused on wasted my time. I think I'm going to send him a bill for wasting my time. Actually, Rawiri Waititi, you can be expecting a bill from me, Kate Floss of the New Zealand Bellbeakers Association that we're going to be having. And so he's removed all references to non-Maori, and he has amended. He has put amended division of New Zealand into general electoral districts. He's put replace only after each subsequent census, and with no occasion with periodically. So he's not managed to remove the word New Zealand, and he's gotten rid of that, and he then has gotten he's removed all references to that word non-Maori. It's not in there. It's gone. Poof, 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 poofed it off, right? And that is the end of that. And then you will see that Kiri Allen, who was the one overseeing this bill, so she oversaw the bill, and she's a lawyer. So Kiri Allen and Rawiri Waititi were in this together. She only came into Parliament to get this law passed. That's why she was there. Kiri Allen, you were up to no good in our Parliament. And the bill, and so she had to go in and make all the amendments and make sure that she also was not using any of those vocabularies, you see. So she updated his amendments as a lawyer. She's updated everything. It's all been updated, and it's all been done and dusted. But, only because of the Oreo team going in there with our 1688 Bill of Rights, okay? We went in with our 1688 Bill of Rights, and I'll just leave that there for a wee minute so you can see it, and it just goes to show how powerful this is. So you can all go ahead and get your teams together. We haven't been able to talk to you because we wanted to see if we would have success or not, but the bill got passed, and if I show you the bill, here is the bill in its entirety, and this is the proper bill, and you can go to view whole, and you can go through the entire act, and you will not see the word non-anything. So it's a lovely bill. They got what they wanted. Now, the last piece of this video that I'm going to be finishing up for you is going to be where we have spoken. So I just wanted to show you about this guy here, because this guy here will show you how they pit us. It's going to show you how they pit these foreigners that are coming into our country, are pitting the New Zealand Bellbeaker Pākehā and New Zealand Bellbeaker Maori. And now, if you want to be a Bellbeaker, you have to ascend from pre-1854. We do not allow anyone post-1854. You have to be here in the walking with the chiefs. You may have been fighting with some of the chiefs as well. But these foreigners are coming in. So this guy has called himself a Maori from Yorkshire. He's not got any Maori blood in him. He says, I'm a foreigner. I've only just come to live in New Zealand. I know nothing about your ancient history. I know nothing about your treaties. I know nothing about your chiefs that walked together with the native German chiefs and the French chiefs and the one or two American chiefs. He knows nothing about any of our history, and he's come in and called himself a Maori. And he wants to, so you'll hear when he says there, I don't like, he puts up the enemy first to speak of the Pākehā, after he speaks of the enemy Pākehā, then he goes in, muzzies up to the Maori to go on the Maori electoral roll, which is his right, but then he calls himself a Maori. Well, I'm sorry, mate, but you are not a Maori, which is why I've chosen to call us Bellbeakers these days. Bellbeaker Maori and Bellbeaker Pākehā. So we're all Bellbeakers together, right? We're all people that are relevant to the Treaty of Waitangi, the Te Tiriti o Waitangi, the 1852 Constitution, the 1838 Provisional Bill, the German ordinances, and all of those things that make up what our country is today. Those are the Bellbeakers. So we cannot use these words Pākehā and Maori anymore because they're deliberately using them to pit us against each other, and we ain't going to be having that no more. I've got everybody working with my team. Right, here we go. Have a listen to this freak, Craig Atkinson.
They remove every person that's non-Maori from voting for Maori. And I think that is a great failure of democracy and of New Zealand going forward. That there is many non-Maori that want to vote for Maori in the local elections and the general elections, and they should be allowed to vote, whether it's identified in a different way, but they still should be allowed to support. The members that are elected are still in Parliament or on council, so there's no difference there. It's just restricting the amount of people that are allowed to vote for them. If we turned around and said that only white Pākehā Anglican males can vote for white Pākehā Anglican males, there'll be outrage because there wasn't allowed support from the rest of the communities, and it would severely limit them. That is why it is done against Maori. So I want to see Maori have proper representation going forward. With population growth and so forth, we used to be at 4 million and 25% Maori. We're now at 5 million and 20%. Once we double as figures and go forward, Maori representation gets less and less unless we're allowed to vote for Maori. I think we're overcomplicating the legislation. And I think it's just a matter of on the form, there's a box to be ticked that you're allowed to vote on the day of elections for whichever candidate, whether they're in the Maori electorates or the general electorates, if you live within their constitution. So I feel very strongly that I should be allowed to vote for my Maori candidate in the elections. And I see many good candidates from the Greens that are moving over to Te Papa Maori. And I would like to support certain people going forward. And the candidates they put for ecological and social wisdom, I think they're way ahead of the 8 Ball is sort of many Maori professionals and so forth. So for that reason, I would like to see just simple forms that we are allowed to vote, and everybody. I think there's many Pacific cousins that would vote for Maori. I think there's many Indians. I think there's many disengaged from the political system, and there's many activists. Like myself, a Maori from Yorkshire. So that's my submission today, and I hope to see some democracy and be allowed to vote for my Maori candidate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Craig. I appreciate your submission. I'll just check with members now to see if there's any questions for you. No questions. You've been very thorough. Thank you for taking the time to submit this morning.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Take care.
What they're after, I'll tell you what they're after getting all the foreigners on their Maori electoral roll, and they're going to drive all sorts of things that they want, and our New Zealand Bellbeaker Maoris are going to be absolutely overwhelmed, and all their rights and all their things are going to be absolutely taken away from them. And these people who just turned up yesterday are going to be getting extra health care, extra education funding, all manner of things, and they're going to do it through that roll. Now, these people have got to stay on the general electoral roll with us, and they go under the Bill of Rights. And one of the things that he did say was that he would like to be on their constitution. Now, that is very dangerous, because when they go on their constitution, as you all know, under Section 71 of the 1852 Constitution, New Zealand Bellbeaker Maoris were given absolute power to govern over themselves outside of the general electoral population. And we all agreed on that, and I support that. But I don't support that for the 2.5 million or 3 million immigrants that have just turned up to have absolute power of self-governance over themselves without the restrictions of the Bill of Rights 1688 to keep them in their place. So this would be a very bad thing. So he's a bit of a sneaky, watch out for him. Now Kate Floss is coming up next. Have a listen to Kate Floss and we'll be ending the video.
Right, our next submitter is Catherine Sixtus, who's also joining us online.
Takes me a minute. Where's Catherine? Where is she?
Oh, all right. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Catherine, yes.
Okay, can you see me?
Not yet.
Okay. Start my video. Okay, here it's come up.
That's it, gotcha.
Right. Can you see me now? Okay.
Yes,
All
lovely.
right, so I'm Catherine Sixtus. My email comes up under another name, but I like to be called Catherine Sixtus. Today I'd like to present to you our ancient Anglo laws and that we haven't been using for such a long time, and that is the 1688 Will and Mary that is in our cabinet manual. And so I'd like to bring this to the attention of Parliament and bring this to the attention of the board. And under our ancient right that we've had for hundreds of years, that has been ignored for such a long time, I'd like to talk about the grants of forfeiture and what it says here, that grants and promises of fines and forfeitures of particular persons before conviction are illegal and void. And so how I'd like to talk about this is that in law, words matter. One word sometimes doesn't mean what we think that it means when we read it. And when we go to look at that definition of that word, it becomes an extremely important word, and the changing of that word can have detrimental effect to all of the people of New Zealand. And the great word that I wanted to talk about today is the word general. And the definition of the word general, if you go to look at it, it says, number one, affecting, concerning all or most people, places, and things. So the second meaning for the word general means considering, including main features or elements or something, and disregards exceptions overall. And which means that when we go to vote and we disregard the candidate that we're not wishing to vote for, that disregards them and gets the people in that we want to vote for. And the third definition is a commander of an army. And then when we look at our elections and we look at our country, the people are the commanders of the country and the people are the commanders of Parliament. And so when we remove this word general, we have removed a very important piece of legislation, especially for it to be removed from the 1993 electoral law. Rawiri Waititi wishes to rename us, the Anglo people, to be called Non-Maori. He is basically calling us a non-entity, that we have become no one. And when we looked at the definition of non-entity, it comes up as a person regarded as being of no importance or significance. And so I think that this would be a terrible thing to do to our New Zealand people. And so I'm not opposed to them wanting to have their New Zealand Maori elections, but I'm opposed to the changing of that word. The other thing that I would like to talk about, so this would be a forfeiture of our person and a forfeiture of who we are when we go to elect from being a person that has power into a non-entity. And this would be illegal under the 1688 Will and Mary. Now, how is this also affecting our New Zealand Maori? Well, it's unfortunate for New Zealand Maori because some New Zealand Maori don't want to be on the Maori electorate. They want to be on the general electorate. And when we change this word to be non-Maori, it means that the person has a very difficult choice. They either choose to be on the Maori electorate and recognise their own personal identity, or they have to choose to be on the non-Maori. If they don't want to vote for any of the Maori candidates, they have to relinquish their identity of person and choose to be a non-Maori. Now, how is this going to affect them? Well, often the new health reforms and the housing reforms have specific things to give to the New Zealand Maori, being the disenfranchised people, that they should get these things. So if they do choose to go on the non-Maori electorate, then when they go to apply for their special housing or their special health care, is it going to mean for them that they're not going to be allowed to get any of those services because they've decided that they are non-Maori, meaning that they do no longer exist as a New Zealand Maori person? So I think this is something, yes. And the third thing that I want to draw attention to the committee is if we do go and look on our 1688 Will and Mary, which is in the Cabinet Manual, we can see here the limitation of the Crown. And the limitation of the Crown, it says, and I will read for you, to quote, I'm almost finished, I think I've got 1 minute, and it says, limitation of the Crown and for preventing all questions and division in this realm by reason of any pretended titles to the Crown, and for preserving a certainty in the succession thereof, in and upon which the unity, peace, tranquility, and safety of this nation doth under God wholly consist and depend. So this is can become a very divisive word that you want to use there. And I have noticed it's been used in Parliament of late. So I will just put my my voice in here that I wish to see this word non-Maori eliminated from all parliamentary sessions, not to be placed in any of our legislation for the reasons that I've just said. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Catherine, for taking the time and for all the work you've put into that submission. I'll just check with members now to see if there's any questions for you.